Hello and welcome to Battle of the Albums, and on this show we look at 1972 release Deep Purple Machine Head, released by Deep Purple Mark II, which were Ian Gillan on vocals, John Lord on keyboards, Ian Paice on drums, Ritchie Blackmore on guitar and Roger Glover on bass. It was released on Purple Records in the UK and Warner Brothers in America. It got to number 1 in the UK album charts and number 7 on the American chart, where it stayed in the American chart for 118 consecutive weeks. It was produced and recorded in Montreux in Switzerland, produced by the band themselves but engineered by Martin Birch, and it spawned 2 singles, Never Before and Smoke on the Water, and over the years has sold 2.5 million albums. Now that's up against Deep Purple's 1974 release Burn from Deep Purple Mark III, and that's David Coverdale on vocals, Glenn Hughes on bass, Ritchie Blackmore on guitar, John Lord on keyboards and Ian Paice on the drums. Released in 1974, it got to number 3 in the UK album charts and number 9 on the American charts. It spawned 2 singles, Might Just Take Your Life and Burn. It was again recorded in Montreux in Switzerland, again produced by the band and engineered by Martin Birch, and over the years has sold in excess of 1 million albums. Okay, track 1 on Machine Head is the legendary song Highway Star, coming in at 6 minutes and 5. Apparently written on a tour bus in Portsmouth in 1971. When a journalist asked Ritchie Blackmore how the band went about writing songs, Ritchie grabbed an acoustic guitar and started riffing. Ian Gillan started improvising vocals over the top, and Highway Star was actually performed live for the first time that very night in Portsmouth. It's got some hypnotic John Lord keyboarding in there. It's also got a brilliant John Lord and Ritchie Blackmore Bark-esque solo in there as well, and a really nice snap snare drum from Ian Paice. Now, Burn is the first track on the Burn album. Obviously the title track was also a single, got to number 45 in the UK singles charts, and Burn actually replaced Highway Star in Deep Purple's live set as the intro track. Obviously it's Deep Purple from the Mark, but we've got Mark III now, and that's got the dueling vocals of Mr. Glenn Hughes and Mr. David Coverdale. And it was first played live in 1974 at the California
Jam. That's that concert that Ritchie Blackmore smashed his guitar over that TV camera. Pity he's not in here. Could have done us all a fucking favour.
It's got Deep Purple written all over it, and for me the guitar almost sounds as if it could have walked off the first Rainbow album. It's got that Rainbow-esque sound to it already. Okay, track 2 on Machine Head is the song Maybe I'm a Leo. Ian Gillan wrote the lyrics, and he is a Leo, born on the 19th of August 1945. Apparently Roger Glover wrote the riff for it because he was inspired by a song by John Lennon, which didn't start on the downbeat. The song was How Do You Sleep? Yeah, it's got a great Ritchie riff there, and it's got some lovely keyboards from Mr. John Lord and a lovely mellow vocal from Mr. Ian Gillan. Now the second track on the Burn album, credited to all the band, is the American single Might Just Take Your Life, which got to number 91. Apparently John Lord said the riff was inspired by a band called Chest Fever. It's got some lovely harmonies from Mr. Glenn Hughes and a lovely, if not excellent, solo from Mr. John Lord. Okay, track 3 on Machine Head is the track Pictures of Home, coming in at 5 minutes and 3, credited to the band. Ritchie Blackmore says he got the riff idea listening to shortwave radio, something like Radio Luxembourg. Ian Gillan obviously wrote the lyrics about homesickness. It's got a stunning drum intro by Ian Paice. It's got some nice guitar soloing from Ritchie Blackmore and got some typical trademark vocals from Mr. Ian Gillan. Now track 3 on the Burn album comes in at 4 minutes 15, credited to all of the band. Typical Coverdale hookup song. It's a really nice up-tempo rocker, and you can tell that Deep Purple are having some good times recording this track. Okay, track 4 on Machine Head is the UK single that got to number 35, coming in at 3 minutes and 56, the track called Never Before. It's a kind of breakup song with lyrics like, I was hurt when I was younger by a woman who was cold. Ian Paice's drums kick off the track once more, and it's got a kind of funky feeling to it, and in my opinion wasn't gonna miss on the Burn album. Now track 4 on the Burn album is a track called Sail Away, coming in at 5 minutes and 48, credited to Mr. Richie Blackmore and David Coverdale. Now it's a kind of positive vibe song, sail away from the negative to the positive to attain your goal. And I must admit, David Coverdale's vocals remind me of what they would turn out to be like on the subsequent Whitesnake albums. Yeah, excellent track. Okay, track 5 on Machine Head is the legendary song Smoke on the Water, which was a single and got to the UK single chart number 21. Comes in at 5 minutes 40, credited to all of the band. Obviously, Smoke on the Water is the story of how the album Machine Head was actually recorded in Montreux in Switzerland, and everybody knows this track. I wonder how many compilation albums this has appeared on over the years. Staggering amount, I would have thought. Now track 5 on the Burn album is a track called You Fool No One, coming in at 4 minutes 47, credited to the band, apparently about an unfaithful partner. Again starts off with Ian Paice on the drums, and Ian Paice stays front and central throughout the track. It's an up-tempo classic. It's got dueling vocals from Glenn Hughes and David Coverdale, and fine guitar solo from Richie Blackmore, and a fine keyboard solo again from Mr. John Lord. Okay, track 6 on Machine Head is the track Lazy, coming in at 7 minutes 19. The theme, self-explanatory, comes in with John Lord's church-like keyboards, then the rest of the band join in, and just when you think it's going to be an instrumental, in comes Ian Gillan with his vocals, an epic of a track. There's an excellent version on the album Made in Japan. Now, track 6 on the Burn album is a track called What's Going On Here, coming in at 4 minutes 55, credited to all of the band. The theme is waking up in the morning of the night before, and yeah, it's not one of my favourite on the album due to John Lord's boogie woogie piano type feel to it. Yeah. Okay, Space Trucking is track 7 on Machine Head, comes in at 4 minutes and 31. It's credited to all of the band. It's apparently about space travel. Yeah, it's an excellent intro by John Lord and Ian Paice, and Ian Gillan throws just about everything at it. It's an excellent track to finish the album, and it almost makes you want to flip over the vinyl and stick the album on all over again. Now, track 7 on the Burn album is the legend of a track Mistreated. Quite a long track, comes in at 7 minutes and 25. It's credited to Richie Blackmore and David Coverdale. It's an excellent vehicle for David Coverdale's vocals. It's got a lovely bluesy feel to it. Yeah, and it's the only track on the Burn album that doesn't feature any vocals from Glenn Hughes, and it featured in Richie Blackmore's live set in his Rainbow Days, and it also featured in Whitesnake's live set in David Coverdale's Whitesnake. Okay, track 8 on Burn is the last track on the album. It's an instrumental credited to the original core of the band. The track's called A200, and it's credited to Richie Blackmore, John Lord and Ian Paice. It's an excellent way to finish the album. Okay, that's the end of the show, and it's time to pick which album I prefer. Is it going to be Deep Purple Mark II with Machine Head from 1972, or is it Deep Purple's 1974 release with Deep Purple Mark III and Burn? Well, I'm going to pick my favourite Deep Purple album out of the entire catalogue, and that's the Deep Purple 1972 release, Machine Head. And although I do like the Burn album, I must admit I do prefer the Stormbringer album, because on Burn I think David Coverdale is still trying to find his feet.
Find his feet? With teeth as white and bright as what he's got, I doubt he has problems finding out. Mind you, it'll save him buying a night lamp. I wonder you haven't tried that, you tight get.
Okay, so that's the end of Battle of the Albums for this time. Don't forget to comment below, subscribe and hit a like. Until next time, bye.